Welcome to the story of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, like you've never heard it before.
This story isn't told to you by the one Dragonborn that masters all, but told to you through the eyes of many different characters.
From soldiers in the Civil War seeking peace and order,
to seeking freedom and to remove the weakness from her lands.
From those cursed by the night, seeking to be the vigil in the darkness.
To warriors seeking honor, glory, and companionship.
To a shapeshifter and worshipper of the Daedra who seeks to live a life as a warrior.
To a mage seeking power and the arcane knowledge of Aetherius.
To assassins seeking fear and bringing the cold touch of Sithis.
To thieves seeking wealth beyond measure.
We all hope you enjoy
this story
of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Chapter 38.
The Snows of Winter.
The last few weeks, the rebels have been sending small raiding parties to harass our lines, but I feel like it's a ploy to keep us here. I've heard reports from the west that the Stormcloaks are on the move. Now that the 99th cohort has been split all over Skyrim, we can't move out from Whiterun and defend holds like we used to. I'm here defending the Rift, while Julia Quintilius is defending the Reach. We've been spread out. If the rebels use their heads, they could cut right through us. We're either guarding Jarl Maven's honey farm and working on it, or we're defending against small Stormcloak attacks. Ever since we arrived, it's been relatively quiet here, but the heart of Skyrim seems to be growing louder. I honestly thought we'd have the rebels surrounded by winter, but this new Bear-Claw battalion seems to be cutting through the Empire and reclaiming the smaller holds. It's as if they're trying to cut off Whiterun. They've taken Falkreath, cutting off Imperial reinforcements from Cyrodiil and launching attacks on other cohorts. They've seized Hjalmarch and the Pale, and yet I've been ordered to stay in the Rift to protect it. It seems this order has come down from the Blackbriar family. We need to move out. There will be no point in holding the Rift to attack Eastmarch if all of Skyrim is taken by the rebels and we find ourselves surrounded with no means of retreat. Instead of serving as a blade wielded by Legate Ricker, we've been reduced to enforcers for the Imperial-aligned Jarls. I've been left as a tool for Maven Blackbriar's whims. She either has us defending Riften against minor attacks, or has me running errands for her. My skills are wasted here. The 99th should be in and out, but I'll follow my orders. I'll deal with Riften's skooma problem. I hope the General will call for us soon. I was more than happy staying in the Rift if we were to move into Eastmarch and start cornering the rebels into Windhelm. But now, with them on the move and slaughtering Imperial soldiers, we need to be out there to stop them. Assisting Maven might earn me her favor, and perhaps she'll grant us permission to move into Eastmarch and start causing trouble for the rebels. But for now, I need to get this poison off the streets of Riften. If I can help the people of Riften, then maybe they'll see that the Empire isn't what the Stormcloaks have been calling us. If we assist them, they'll see through the lies of the Stormcloak Rebellion. The best thing I can do is take action while we wait and do nothing as the West catches fire.
The throne suits me, don't you think? Results speak volumes over words, and you just proved it. Did you happen to discover where the Fetcher was getting his skooma from? Then I want you to head out there immediately and eliminate all of them. I can't afford to have another Sarthis blunder into Riften because they think we're too lazy to disrupt that pitiful operation. Do this task for me, and you'll be well on your way to a title in Riften. Good. Make sure not one of them escapes alive.
My orders were to proceed into Eastmarch and eliminate all of these skooma dealers. Typically, such tasks are assigned to bounty hunters or guards. However, if I am to gain Maven's favor, I must take it upon myself to complete this mission. By proving my reliability, she may grant us the flexibility to launch raids in Eastmarch. I wonder how Eastmarch is going to react when Imperial troops raid their lands. I'd take a small force, small enough to go unnoticed by the rebels. This way, they wouldn't see us coming. My mission was clear, to eliminate the skooma dealers. However, any encounters with Stormcloak patrols or couriers were fair game. My housecarls and I would handle the skooma dealers, while my Imperial troops would remain nearby, eliminating any targeted Stormcloak threats. By eradicating this filth, we will demonstrate to the people of Riften that the Empire stands with them. It will also prove to Maven Blackbriar that she can rely on me. With any luck, she will grant us permission to leave the Rift and launch raids on Windhelm. Once we had cleaned out the cave of its local scum, I'd confiscate whatever remains of the skooma and moon sugar. This poison will no longer plague the streets of Riften. They might be wolves, but it's better that they are put down by my hands than to die starving, covered in their own waste, waiting for death. The presence of those wretched Thalmor is causing great distress among the local Nords. These pointy-eared bastards are doing nothing but spreading fear and unease. How can I expect the people of Riften to embrace the return of the Empire when these Thalmor agents are allowed to operate freely, invading homes and tearing loved ones away simply because of their worship of Talos?
The throne suits me, don't you think? I'll send my men to secure any of the remaining goods you've left behind. We can't have that substance falling into the wrong hands now, can we? Here, this should suffice as your cut of the... or rather, a reward for your actions. Now, if you'll excuse me. So, I've been hearing your name in court quite a bit lately. I've been informed by my steward that you've made quite an impression in the Rift. The people won't stop blathering about you. Oh, don't pretend to be modest. I'm talking about your new role as champion. Apparently, you've taken my people under your wing. If you think you can steal my throne by winning the hearts of the people, that's where you're wrong. Keep that in mind. However, since it wouldn't behoove me to make you disappear, I'd rather have you on my side as Thane of Riften. You damn well better. I've checked with my court, and apparently you're fully eligible. There's nothing standing in the way of presenting you the title. I expect that you'll distance yourself from the affairs of state. In other words, keep your nose out of my business, and we'll do just fine. Just remember that you're only a part of my court. This doesn't make you one of the family. I guess all that's left is to bestow the title. What were those words again? Doesn't matter, the title is yours. I henceforth name you Thane of Riften. Don't disappoint me.
While cleaning the streets of Riften, Maven Blackbriar appointed me as a Thane of the Rift. As a gesture of her trust, she also assigned me an additional housecarl. Now I find myself with 3 formidable bodyguards. Upon returning to Goldenglow, I was greeted with letters from Luca. It had been far too long since I last saw her. I must admit, I haven't been the best father, and I feel a sense of regret for not being there for her. It wrote,
Dear Father, I hope this letter finds you well. It's Luca. I miss you so much, and it's been too long since you left. Home isn't the same without you. Your laughter no longer fills the rooms, and your wise words no longer guide me when I need it the most. I understand why you had to leave, to fight for the Empire, to fight for a cause you believe in. I admire your bravery and your commitment. But Father, I miss you. Your absence is felt in every corner of our home, in every moment of our daily lives. Every day, I find myself looking out the window, hoping to see you coming up the road. I find myself listening for the sound of your voice, your boots on the doorstep. But all I see is the road stretching out empty, and all I hear is the silence. In your absence, I have been visiting the Temple of the Divines, and a priestess there, Solana Petrea, has been teaching me. Her wisdom and kindness remind me of you, and I find some comfort in her words. But it's not the same as having you here with me. I yearn to visit you in Riften where you're stationed. I long to see you, even if it's just for a few moments. Just to know that you're safe and well would bring me immense peace. I am proud of you, Father. I am proud of your bravery and your dedication to restoring Skyrim to the Empire. But I miss you, and I worry about you. I pray to the Divines for your safety every day, and I find myself wishing more and more that you were here with me. Please, Father, come home soon. We need you here. I need you. There's a place for you here, always, and it's not the same without you. I love you, Father. Please take care of yourself. I will be waiting for your return. Your loving daughter, Luca.
I adopted her to get her off the streets, where she was begging. I saw myself in her, wondering what would have happened if the Legion hadn't taken me in when I was a boy. I knew I had to provide her with what I was given as a child. Fortunately, she is safe in solitude, with a caregiver and a friend by her side. That will suffice until I finish my duties here and can return to solitude. I wanted to send her a gift as a token of reassurance, so she would know that I am safe and still alive. A ring seemed fitting, and I will accompany it with a heartfelt letter, assuring her that I will be home soon. Hopefully. On my way back to Maven to deliver my daily report, I was approached by an elderly man who expressed a desire to speak with me.
Huh? Well, not really. Well, I was taking an evening walk like I always do, and I saw some men outside the Echo Deep Mine. The thing is, they look like mercenaries, up to no good. I've never seen them around here, and they look real tough. In addition, the Echo Deep Mines are not a place people go. There are myths about it. All sorts of stories. Some say it's haunted by ghosts. Some say a wealthy bandit lord hides out in it, quietly contributing to the crime in Riften. Some people even say that deep within the mines there are Dwemer ruins, full of all sorts of automatons, just waiting to slay whoever enters. On my way back from my walk, I passed the mine entrance again. I heard all sorts of horrific noises. I reckon something happened to those men. Anyone going to those mines is up to no good. Now, I've asked the guard to take a look, but they just ignore me. I need someone to see what's happened. Would you go look for me? Please, if they're planning something, the city guard needs to know. Please, go check for me. Finally, thank you. I'll mark it down on your map. Just be careful. We still don't know what's in there.
The elderly man informed me about a concerning situation in Deep Echo Mine. It appears that numerous individuals, possibly Stormcloaks, have been entering the cave, potentially using it as a hiding spot to plan attacks. To ensure the safety of the area, I'll assemble a small team and investigate the mine, clearing out any potential rebels or bandits. It appears that there has been recent activity in the area. The presence of a deceased group of bears suggests that multiple individuals were involved in their demise. Such a feat would require a considerable force. It is evident that there is something significant happening here that warrants further investigation. As I entered the mine, I could hear the sound of people diligently digging away at the metal. Fortunately, these individuals turned out to be bandits rather than Stormcloaks. Dealing with these scum shouldn't pose too great of a challenge. Once we are finished here, I can make my way back to Riften and send off my gift to Luca. It was difficult to see in the darkness of the mine, but fortunately, these bandits have no concept of personal hygiene, so you can smell them before you see them. After I had defeated their leader, it became apparent that we had ventured so deep that we had entered a dwarven ruin. This was the first time I had ever been in one of these ruins. I felt compelled to investigate further, as if these idiots had awakened the ancient statues of the Dwemer. I had to determine if they posed a threat to the rift. I've also heard that the Dwemer created incredibly advanced weapons, far beyond our time. Perhaps we might discover something down here that could aid us in our fight against the Stormcloaks. It was empty and dark as we ventured deeper into the ruins. However, we could hear faint sounds emanating from further down. When we finally reached the bottom, we encountered one of those remarkable Dwemer automatons that could move. It had already claimed the lives of people who came before us. The automaton unleashed a blast of scorching air at us, but luckily, those who had faced it earlier managed to inflict some damage, making our encounter somewhat easier. The deceased individuals we encountered were mercenaries who were searching for an ancient gate to open. One of them had a dwarven cube in his possession, which appeared to be a perfect fit for the pillar in front of the beams. Although it may be unwise to place the dwarven cube in the pillar, my curiosity compels me to do so. As I cautiously placed the dwarven cube on the pillar, an astonishing sight unfolded before me. The cube activated, emitting a radiant glow, while the entire room began to tremble. What in the eight was going on here? As the beams descended, a magnificent gate appeared before me, resembling the very gate that the mercenaries had been searching for. I felt a strange sensation, as if the gate was beckoning me to step forward and explore what lay beyond. It was a compelling urge, driven by the need to ensure that whatever awaited on the other side posed no threat to Riften, or even all of Skyrim. We were compelled to uncover the secrets that awaited us on the other side.
Our mission was crystal clear. Wrest control of Whiterun Hold from the Empire's grip. Our strategy was to undermine the Empire's defenses, locate their armies on the thoroughfares, and engage them in direct combat. Our directives were to encircle Whiterun by seizing control of Hjalmarch and the Pale, with Falkreath Hold already under our control. The Reach and Rift were currently off limits. Our primary objective was Whiterun. By capturing the heart of Skyrim, we would be in a position to reclaim the Rift from the Empire's weakening grip. The Empire had appointed Maven Blackbriar as the Jarl, a figure notorious for her corruption. However, before we could restore the Rift, it was crucial to reclaim Whiterun, bringing it back under the control of the true sons and daughters of Skyrim. On the other hand, capturing the Reach would present an entirely different challenge. The Imperial force guarding it is formidable, and if we were to move our armies into the Reach, we'd risk losing a quarter of it to the Forsworn. It might even be strategic to consider taking the Reach only after we have secured Solitude. Before any of that, we have a mission to accomplish: to paint the snow Imperial red. We need to remind the Imperials of who they're fighting against. We need to remind the people of Skyrim who we are fighting for. We fight for our freedom and for our rights, to regain our strength under our own rule. This is our land, and we shall defend it with our lives. It's a choice between Sovngarde and freedom. No Imperial soldier will stand in our way. We may fall on the battlefield, fighting them with every ounce of our strength, but we will be rewarded with a place in Sovngarde alongside our loved ones. Both options hold honor for any Nord. We embrace death in battle as a welcome fate. For a Nord to fall on the battlefield in defense of Skyrim, there is nothing more sacred. Protecting our homeland is our utmost duty and honor. Those who give their lives are true heroes to the people of Skyrim. As we march forward, we carry the cries of every Nord who has lost loved ones to the Empire and their elven puppet masters. When the Empire sees the Bear-Claw sisters approaching, they know their defeat is imminent. They may attempt to stain the snow with their cowardly yellow, but we will swiftly paint it red with our unwavering determination and strength. We shall liberate these lands from their weakness and cleanse the corruption of the Empire. We will restore Talos to his rightful place and resurrect the strength of the Nords under the rule of a true Nordic king. Only when Skyrim is made whole again shall we truly be strong. Some of the Stormcloak commanders may doubt our ability, my sister and I, to wrest control from the Empire. But what can you expect from these men? Women are found throughout Skyrim, yet seldom in positions of power. Many were born into the hearth, but Brianna and I were born for the blade. It matters not that we are women. All that matters is our unwavering determination to liberate Skyrim, just like any other man. Before we even arrived, the Jarl and her men shamelessly abandoned their hold. And rightfully so, for when the Bear-Claws come knocking, those who stand in our way shall meet their demise and join the afterlife. We shall restore true and strong Nordic Jarls, who will lead the people of Skyrim with honor and strength. With each battle we fight to free Skyrim, we lose loved ones, family and friends, who pay the ultimate price in freeing our lands from the Empire. They were more than just sisters, fathers, and husbands. They were our shield siblings. They sacrificed their lives for the cause of a better Skyrim. We will not allow their deaths to be in vain. We are determined to free Skyrim. And for every one of ours that the Empire takes, we shall exact a tenfold retaliation. After a few days of recovery and bidding farewell to our fallen loved ones, we had to press on with our mission. Our next objective was to seize control of the Pale. Once the Pale is under our command, we will have Whiterun surrounded. And with the Empire's grip weakened, we can finally liberate those lands from their clutches. The Imperials will struggle to fight here. They are unable to handle the harsh conditions of the snowy north. These lands belong to the Nords, and the frigid snows of the Pale will be soaked in the blood of the Imperial invaders. Once we are finished here, the snows of the Pale will forever be remembered as crimson, a testament to the battles fought and won. These lands are among the most breathtaking in all of Skyrim, with their beauty and chilling cold. They are reserved for the bravest and strongest of Nords. Upon spotting smoke in the distance, our curiosity was piqued, and we felt compelled to investigate. Could this be the very place where the Vigilance used to be? Those Daedra hunters? The smoke was still fresh, indicating that whatever happened had occurred just a couple of days ago. I've encountered those little bastards before. They attacked us when we were wiping out those vampires in Bloodlet Throne. Could it be that the vampires were behind this? If vampires attack this place, something ain't right. No vampire in their right mind would dare come this close to a location like this. But they did, and they slaughtered everyone. With these vampire attacks and now wiping out their hunters, something dark is looming on the horizon. If they could do this to the very people who once hunted them, those who kept them in check, what chance does Skyrim stand if we find ourselves at war? We better rid ourselves of the Empire swiftly, or else both sides will be facing a formidable enemy that demands our utmost attention. On our journey to Dawnstar, we stumbled upon a pack of Thalmor dogs who had one of our own as their prisoner. While they may think they can take our people, we certainly won't allow it. And we won't be taking any prisoners, be it Imperial or Thalmor. The Thalmor deserve nothing but death. The Dominion carries its own coins. They make for a satisfying trophy to snatch from those Thalmor pigs. The coins maintain their shine, unlike the pointy ears that start to reek. Upon our arrival on the road to Dawnstar, we weren't greeted by an Imperial cohort or anything of the sort. The Imperials had no defense set up to halt us, which was somewhat disappointing. Nonetheless, it makes our task easier. We'll hold our ground in Dawnstar until the Imperials dispatch their armies to reclaim it. We'll then engage them in battle, seize control of Fort Dunstad from them, and then the Pale will be ours. It didn't take long for the Imperials to show up and attempt to oust us, but these fools are no match for true northern warriors. It's time to stain the snows. These Imperial dogs, they rob us of our gods, let those elves abduct our loved ones, and murder our people for seeking freedom from their empire. To oblivion with them all. These are our lands, and we'll construct a barrier between Skyrim and Cyrodiil using their dead. Every time those bastards take one of ours, it fuels an inferno of rage within us, driving us to fight even harder. We will not, under any circumstances, allow these dogs to get away with what they've done. Every single one of those taken and never seen again will be avenged, as our fury knows no bounds. Every fallen warrior who fought valiantly for the Stormcloak cause will be avenged, their sacrifice fueling our unyielding wrath. And those who have wronged them will pay with their blood. By the 9, they will pay. In the midst of our seething anger, we vow to leave no survivors, showing no mercy and taking no prisoners. We shall deliver a thunderous message to the Empire. Abandon our lands, or watch as the snows become a canvas of crimson, painted with the fallen bodies of your soldiers. This is Skyrim, the hallowed abode of the Nords. Depart now, or bear witness to the full force of our unyielding fury. Our sole mission is crystal clear, to liberate Skyrim from the suffocating grip of the Empire. No longer shall our brave warriors spill their blood on foreign soil for a foreign ruler. These are the days when Nords rise to fight for the honor of Skyrim and our rightful king alone. The Empire has taken us for granted, but no more. We shall not allow it any longer. And if they dare to exploit us any longer, we shall unleash a torrent of wrath, painting Skyrim crimson with the blood of Imperials. The final task before us was to launch an assault on Fort Dunstad. This would undoubtedly be a monumental battle, but the fort has already been depleted of most of its soldiers in futile attempts to resist us. For those who defiantly stand their ground, their fate is sealed, and they shall face their demise with a semblance of honor. As for those of us who may not see the light of the morning, may our memory be etched in the hearts of those who carry on. For those who valiantly fall on this day, their spirits shall rejoice alongside their loved ones in the mighty halls of Sovngarde. After emerging victorious from the battle, the time had come to bid farewell to the fallen Imperial soldiers. Though we may desire their presence removed from our lands, we must not disregard the respect owed to the departed. They perished while fighting for their own convictions. May they in turn hold a similar reverence for our fallen comrades. Despite the animosity that divides us, we should honor those who met their end on the battlefield. I can only hope that the Imperials do the same with our fallen, not leaving them naked in the snow to be devoured by worms or wolves. We may be enemies, but we should always honor and respect the fallen. For on this night, we mourn the fallen warriors. Solda Oath-Hilt experienced a devastating blow, losing her precious son. It was only days after she had already suffered the loss of her husband, and weeks before that, her daughter. The weight of this immense grief is immeasurable. I worry for her, as she now finds herself without her entire family, the very essence that once gave her purpose and the will to carry on. I fear her sole purpose now is to die fighting against the Imperials. But I shall not stop her, for undoubtedly she yearns for Sovngarde, where her children and husband await her. I need to wash all of this blood off of me and get some rest. Today has been long, and I've grown weary. It was now morning, and the time had come to prepare to move the troops into Whiterun Hold. Winter was drawing near, and it was imperative that we secured Whiterun before Skyrim was covered in snow. We shall have the Stormcloak flag flying over Whiterun. We shall free the people of Whiterun from the corruption of the Empire and restore their strength. But until then, there is much work to be done, and I cannot shake the fear that I will lose more of the valiant Bear-Claw raiders before we achieve victory.
So this chapter is kind of mixing between my two sides of the one coin sort of characters. And they're pretty much, because their armor's made by the same person, their shield and sword are made by the same person, same models, and their stories kind of circle each other. And well, throughout like most of my chapters, Senturos has been the one in the battles, the one fighting, the one moving from point to point in battles. Where Sigund and her sister have kind of been thrown across, you know, to take back a hold, or to sneak in and take a hold and get back out. There's certain reasons why they weren't given certain dangerous missions. For those that know watch the channel, most likely heard me talk about that in the past. But for those that don't, there'll be a good reason for that in the future. So since they're the two sides of the one coin, the roles kind of reversed now. You know. Like I said, but Senturos was out there fighting, you know, moving from point A to point B to point C. He's now changed roles of Sigund, where she's out there now attacking point A, point B, point C, and he's defending. You know, he's on the defense, well, they're on the offense. Their roles have reversed because the way that I built this story up is that, you know, the Elder Scrolls isn't just about one person, it's about many. It's one main character, but there's many characters that, you know, that need to help that main character. There's many that have a reason to be in the story. And Sigund and Senturos have that, and they can't meet on the battlefield. It's, you know, it's their fate not to meet, because it would destroy their destinies, because one of them would die. And so that's the kind of the way that I wanted to make that, where no matter what they do, where they go, they will just circle around each other. They're like the two positive sides of the magnet trying to meet. It just pushes itself away. And when a certain event happens, they will become, well, the negative and the positive, they will glue together because of what's in between. That sounds so bad, but I just wanted to kind of get that out there, that now Senturos is, and he's not happy where he is right now. He doesn't want to be on the defense because he thought this would be like, you know, he thought the Empire was going to be surrounding Winterhold within the week or two, and that Riften was the gateway into Eastmarch, and that's why he was there, but it didn't go that way for him, and now he's stuck defending this hole. Stormcloaks are barely even attacking, so he's sitting on his thumb pretty much, and he doesn't like that. Maven Blackbriar wants her position well kept, and she wants the very best unit that provided her the throne to stay there and protect it, because again, she's a greedy bitch. She wants the very people that ensured that she had it to keep it for her. Just the whole problem with, and so she's stuck, Senturos is stuck there pretty much being her guard dog, like Maul. So yeah, his attempts are to try and loosen her up a little bit. Just really poor choice of words tonight. And help her out, and so if we help you out, you let us go in and kind of, you know, raid Eastmarch. They used to raid us back in the day, and that's just his hope. But again, he's going to get some prestige because he can, while he's not, you know, fighting Stormcloak hordes, he can help the people of Riften and earn himself a bigger name. So one day when when the war is done, when in his head believes the Empire was victorious, he can return to Cyrodiil as a very influential person from Skyrim, and, you know, he can go from being a noble across Skyrim to them being respected and feared amongst the Elder Council or whatever, you know. He's got dreams of the Elder Council and stuff like that, and he's just a very sort of ambitious Imperial soldier in a certain respect. But things like that will change in the future with certain events. But again, I just kind of wanted to have him on the defense this time, you know. A good offense is a good defense. Was that the Obi-Wan term I'm trying to look for? Because I like to see him as like he's a defensible character that lets his targets come in, where Sigund is like an offensible character that will charge her targets, you know. And so they're kind of like, they're just their heads and the tails pretty much. So he gets a new house, Carl. Now they're all female, yeah, I know. But I don't know if I wanted her for a Stormcloak or a Imperial. I don't know if I've actually even still change it. Like, should Lydia return to Whiterun once Whiterun is lost, and then plead allegiance to Whiterun instead of the person like that? Is that the way it works? Do housecarls stay loyal to their thanes? At least their thanes are no longer thanes to that new hold leadership. This was pretty shit. I thought about, you know, because I'd had some footage in the past where I played as Luca going to the church or running around with the kids around Solitude, and I tried to get the voice, but I was a bit impatient, and it honestly sounds a bit shit. But the idea was to have a letter from Luca, because he adopted her up the streets of Whiterun because he imagined himself, you know, in that situation where he would have been on his own instead of being adopted by the Legion. So he took her off the streets and put her into his house that he brought there after the Battle of Whiterun, and she was good. And then Whiterun was getting, you know, attacked by lots of like archers that shoot their bows over the top, and he thought, bugger that, I'm gonna get her to Solitude once he brought her house there. So that's where she is currently, in Solitude. She's safe and out of the danger, and he's got like a caretaker there, and that caretaker's got like a little sister she's raising, so she's good on that front. But they haven't seen each other for probably a couple months, and that's a long time for the person that adopted you, you know, to not have seen you in some time, and it kind of sucks for her, because, you know, that's the person that put her under a roof and fed her. Now, I actually kind of like this bit. I've had this cooking for a long time. Even this is my last save. It's kind of like an awakening, you know, like he's gone down there to clear out some bandits he thought that were Stormcloaks, then he's discovered they're not Stormcloaks, but they could have unlocked some sort of dangerous secret that they in the Dwemer ruin, so we went to investigate it, and he ends up walking through a gate, having no idea what the hell's about to happen, no idea that it was about to close behind him, and this is another introduction to another great DLC-sized mod called Falskar, and he'll spend some time in here before he comes back where everyone thinks he's missing, and it's kind of strange for him because like he'll come back and Skyrim will be in winter. There's a reason why this place won't go winter, because there's actually like it's a little bit strange, but there's a reason for it, and I'll get into that when we're actually there in Falskar. But he comes back and he'll look different, like he'll have a longer beard, and everyone thought he died or disappeared, like he went on this mission with these soldiers and never returned, thinking that they were all killed or disappeared. They went looking for his corpse. And some things have happened to certain characters being rescued, blah blah, and he'll return, hopefully back to Dawnstar when it's reclaimed by the Empire, or he won't return to Dawnstar because it's a Stormcloak, but he will return to Solitude maybe a while after this, and got to get there first. But things have definitely changed, and he'll see something in this quest that will blow his mind. Like, holy shit, what was that? And when he returns to Skyrim, he sees a bit more of them. They've returned. Now, like I said, Sigund's role was replaced. When she was running the Bear-Claw Raiders, they were raiders. They would ambush Imperial soldiers on the roads, ambush Imperial lines. They would be essentially what raiders are. They guerrilla tactics, hit and run. But now they've been given a certain division of Stormcloak soldiers, and they're now pretty much a Bear-Claw brigade, and they're going to war with the Empire. They've got a mission, and it's to take Whiterun before the Winter's falls. But what they need to do is they need to circle Whiterun, cut its supply of troops off, its food off, and blah blah. Now, again, I was going to complete the whole entire thing, but I thought I didn't want to do it all in one hit. I kind of want a bit more of a couple chapters added in with it after this. So that's the reason we didn't get to Whiterun in this one, because I want to do that in another one. Now, before this, that first person that died, her last name was Oathhill. I think it was Saldy Oathhill, and that was taking back Whiterun. Before that, none of the troops ever died. None of the troops ever died. They weren't going up against big enough threats, or they were hitting and running before they had died. Even the Mudcrabs decided they wanted to join this fight. But now she's in the main fight. She now is waking up to the idea of losing her people, and she's just lost one. And it's not even a Nord. It's actually an Imperial that got killed, one of her brigades. But her mission is to restore Whiterun to the people of Skyrim, and she's waking up to the idea that not everyone she goes to battle with is going to come back, and that's kind of what I want with this one. Like, these guys died on their own. They weren't planned. There was nothing there. Like, this is the thing, and it's quite sad because in this entire chapter, the Oathhills, majority of their family dies. The first one that died in the Bear-Claw Raiders was the young red-headed girl, which was the daughter, and then it was the husband back there, and then eventually at the Battle of Fort Dunstead, it was the son, and all that's left is the mother. And the idea that I might give her like increased damage but lower her health, so that she'll charge into the enemy lines, doing some maximum damage to Imperial soldiers, but she won't have as much health, so she will go out the way that she might want to, because her entire family's dead. They're all gone. There's no reason for her to live anymore but to kill the people that killed her family. Take as many of them as she can with her, so she can avenge her family and meet them in Sovngarde. That's kind of the natural way of storytelling. All these characters, all these named followers, they have their own little stories, they have their own little names, and they're all mortal. But I haven't found a nice place to bury them, so I kind of just... I've gotten used to the idea of just leaving their corpses behind somewhere and just having to walk away, because I don't know how much... Like, I can't find a nice flat spot for the Stormcloaks to bury their dead. I found a perfect spot for the Imperials, but eventually I'm going to fill that up, and the ones I lose in battles that that are lost or on retreat will have to be claimed by the land. They won't be buried, or they'll be burnt, but they won't be buried. But yes, it's kind of the whole reality of it is that I didn't really talk about it with Sigund here, but the man kneeling down is an Imperial, and I've talked about this in a previous chapter as one of the characters, that his father was a Redguard, and that's why they've got darker skin than Imperials. Their mother was an Imperial Tullius worshipper, and she fled to Skyrim to get away from the Thelmor. Her father was a Redguard warrior seeking aid from the Stormcloaks, but was badly wounded and basically nursed to health by a priestess of Talos, which was their mother. They found love, very similar to the story of my Dragonborn. Maybe their mother even knew each other. Their mothers knew each other. But like, you know, they were born and raised to Skyrim, and they ran a little farm and they'd sell produce to the rebels, you know, and the Empire found out, and they killed their parents and threw them inside their burning home. But at that time, he was out hunting with his sister. His sister was an expert archer. She had like that keen eye, that precision shot. He was there for protection from any predators or any sort of bandits, and he was there to carry back the carcass. But when they came back home, they saw smoke in the distance, and they ran back to find Imperial soldiers leaving their property, the home burning, and their parents' bodies eventually inside when it burnt down. And he then took his sister to Winterhold and left her there to basically be raised while he went to war, and eventually she joined that war, and this is kind of where her story ends. She was only like a young, probably 18, 19, 20 in that age, and she died fighting beside her brother, and he's sad because he's lost his entire family now, but he's ferocious, he's angry. I like Lavius because he's a unique character. He's not an Imperial traitor. He was born from the idea of my Imperial, of Senturos being like a Stormcloak, and I really like his character. He's a kick-ass. I might have to change his voice or something, but he's a unique character because he's an Imperial. You know, nicknamed the Traitor, even though he's never been to the Cyrodiil or whatever, anything like that. But that was sad, man, obviously. And as you can see, you got a son and a mother basically kneeling over their dead father and husband, and pretty much he's going to join his father and his sister and Sovngarde within this chapter, and it's kind of rough that she's sitting there mourning the death of her daughter a week or a month ago, and then the death of her husband, and then a couple of days later the death of her son, and that shit is brutal. But that's all the whole part of natural storytelling with these named Stormcloak soldiers. Now, while Sigund's here, Ragni's on her way to the Dawnguard. And obviously we've heard about this place being destroyed. I've been here quite a lot because I didn't have this quest activate until level 50. And it's kind of cool coming back here to actually see it destroyed, where before I had the mod for that, it was always destroyed. And Sigund remembers these little bastards because they were in Bloodlet Throne and they attacked her when she was hunting the vampire that basically attacked her little fortification. And she's a bit, scared from this fact that this was the Vigilance of Stendar's sort of main base of operations in Skyrim. The very people made to hunt Daedra, werewolves, witches. I didn't even see that person right then. Holy shit, how did I not notice that? Oh, dude, just walked right past them. I can't believe that. Oh, dude, how did I not notice an Imperial soldier sitting there? It's actually not an Imperial soldier. It's actually a Vigilant, but I gave him Imperial armor because they were actually made to be Cecilia's pre-story. When I first started this entire series, I made them to kind of be like her followers before she turned to a vampire, but then I changed the story to her being a vampire before she entered Skyrim. I can't believe I didn't see her, man. They're so... that blows my mind. I don't know how I did not notice that at all. So unimmersive too. It kills me that I'm not going to go back and edit that because it would take too much time to redo it all. But we came across some Thalmor, and I was like, yeah, we got to spill some blood. We got to cut some goddamn filthy elves down. They might respect the Imperial dead, but these guys would probably flop out their cocks and piss all over the dead Thalmor, because you absolutely would. Now the goal with this one was actually to enter like Dawnstar of no threat. I've got a mod, and that's, as you can see right now, it's called Open Skyrim at War. And if I came across any battalions, we'd hit them, we'd kill them, we'd attack them, but there's nothing there. So we entered Dawnstar, and I was hoping for the series where we'd get one after, and it did. We had 2 actually rock up, and that's why there's already other dead Imperial soldiers around. So we had 2 cohorts turn up. I sort of call them anyway because it sounds more Roman. We had 2 cohorts turn up, and we went to a goddamn bloodbath. Luckily enough, none of our dudes were lost because we had an Imperial Brigade, which is like the other version. Rebel Brigade. But they turned up to help us out, and we didn't lose any troops, but that was good because it was kind of like I wanted to feel like they'd entered Dawnstar and they'd stayed there to invite the Imperial's forces from Fort Dunstead into Dawnstar to kill them and attack them, and when they had killed their armies, they'd make their way to Fort Dunstead to take it, since now its defences were weaker. And I had to capture this shit real quick, man, before bodies started disappearing, because this was a beautiful sight. In a certain respect of like, you know, in a scene. Like a scene, because, you know, the snows were painted crimson red, and they continuously talk about this, the Stormcloaks, about painting the snows Imperial red. And this is where we get to see that in its full and absolute glory, and I had to get in there for bodies started disappearing or anything sort of weird started happening. It's probably one of my best shots of like an aftermath of a battle, and it's beautifully disgusting, especially with blood on NPCs and gore and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty gnarly. It's really immersive. I decided to stack all the bodies up this time and cook them off, because you hear about that the Imperials did that to that man's daughter in Riften, and I thought this is probably the best time to show off, like, you know, you're not going to leave the bodies lying around for the rats to eat, or the wolves to eat, or this and that, or necromancers, or whatever to loot. You know, you hate them until they're dead, and once they're dead, you don't have to hate them anymore. You send them off, you burn them off, because less disease, and less rats probably, or probably not, definitely not wolves. It's barbecued for them, but it's just a kind of natural way of storytelling. You see armies getting burnt off and this sort of stuff, and this is kind of where the sad thing comes into hand, where you see Sorta, I think her name is Sorta, Oathhill, and she's saying goodbye. Ash Warrior was actually a female Dunmer, but she got cooked, which kind of is ironic for her name, being called Ash Warrior, and she's been burnt. But we lost a Dunmer that fought for the Stormcloaks, because some of them think, instead of whinging and bitching about our life, you know, how about we help the Nords, they might favour us. And again, Sigund does. Her mother was, you know, pretty much raised with an Uncle Dunmer, and she's got no racism in her heart, unless, you know, she got Imperials that fight with her, for crying out loud. It's all about your heart with her, you know. Is your heart with Skyrim? If it is, you're a Nord. If it's not, you're gonna be at the end of my blade. But yeah, it was a sad thing to see, even for me, man. Like, these are just fictional characters, all bullshit, but it's sad to see that sort of effect where a mother has just lost her 2 children and her husband, and the last thing she's got in her mind is going out killing as many Imperials as she can, because that's the only way she's going to earn the right to see her family again in Sovngarde. Well, this is kind of where the chapter ends. I love the transition of coming outside, and, you know, from all the dead bodies and the Imperial soldiers, the Imperial flags, and now the Stormcloaks are there. You got a patrol running through. You've got guards there at Fort Sungard. I think it's Sungard. And you've got the Stormcloak flag up high in the morning, and it's a blizzard. And again, this is going to move on into the next chapter, the next couple chapters, both Sigund and Senturos' story. And, you know, even when she goes to Whiterun, into the plains of Whiterun, she'll discover that winter is pretty bloody close, because it's going to be constantly a blizzard. And then I have an idea for, like, maybe when that chapter's done, that when she wakes one day after a certain victory, that she'll wake up and she'll find, you know, Skyrim is drenched in snow. Like, you know, I've never seen snow in my life, so I actually don't know how it really works. But yeah, pretty much in the nick of time, she might have a certain victory. After a few days of complete blizzards, she'll wake up to find Skyrim is no longer really. It's still blizzarding, but it's you can now see the effects of all that blizzard. But and again, big thanks to Climates of Tamriel for that, because that's a friggin' awesome and most immersive mod, and that's something that I've been wanting since 2012, man. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this chapter. I don't know if I'm talking to myself in these, but it's a good sort of thing to do. Hopefully, if there's a community watching this outro sort of stuff. I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and look after yourselves. And if you liked it, give it a like. If you want to stick around and see more, there's plenty more to come. You can chuck me a subscribe, and if you've got any ideas on the video, anything kicking in your head and you want to talk about it, chuck it down in the comments and we'll have a discussion. Either I'll bully you or I'll agree with you. Have a good one. See you later.